Jim Jones just snapped, full-on meltdown, and went off on Tony Yayo during Memphis Bleek's podcast. And here's the craziest part. Bleek doesn't even mess with Yayo either. So what's the real story here? Why does Memphis Bleek have smoke with Tony Yayo? And why did Jim Jones end up crashing out like that on camera? Stick around, because this one's got layers, and it heats up quick. We're breaking it all down from the very top. And trust me, once you see how deep it runs, you'll understand exactly why tempers exploded. Let's start with Bleek, because his beef's a little easier to unpack. Memphis Bleek has been locked in with Jay-Z since day one. Like family, he's been by HOV's side since the Blueprint era, loyal through everything. But Tony Yayo, he's been tossing shots at Jay for years, and the disrespect just keeps building. Yayo's always had this thing about calling people out, but when it came to Jay, he crossed a line that Bleek couldn't ignore. But then Yayo took it even further. He brought Bleek's name into it.
Like I just said, we just came back off tour.
Yeah.
You know, with Fifth, and we still touring. Still. And I do my own tours too for people. Oh, yo.
You see,
I do my own tours. I did tours in Canada. I did a tour across the whole Germany and the Swiss Alps. And that's why I don't care about the hate. Cause I'm like, I got the possibility to do my own tour. Like something with Memphis Bleek. Memphis Bleek said Nori. Yayo said Jay-Z didn't have us on tour like he did, or I eat my own halal. I eat my own halal too, if you want to say that. To Memphis Bleek, I just came off my last tour. All I'm saying is when you see Jay-Z in a setting, he never really, when he's doing a Beyonce show or whatever, you don't see Memphis Bleek on the stage and him being brought out. You know, even if I'm doing the hype man shit with 50, he's bringing me out. I'm making money. I'm going to.
That's that man girl too. That's it. That's Hov's wife tour.
Yeah, that's Hov wife tour.
So I believe if Hov was out on his own, he would bring Bleek out. There is no need for him to bring Bleek in a situation where it looked like if this was last tour you're talking about with the Cowboy Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, because I look at Bleek as a loyal guy, I'm a loyal guy to Jay. But I look at like Fifth, my guy Hervé, one day we had TRL, and it's the Young Gunners there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him about it. And Hervé says loud, you don't gotta worry about nothing. You got 50. Jay-Z doesn't do nothing for these guys like 50 does. And Hervé, I think he worked with them too. But he said that to me, and that always stuck in my head. Rest in peace to him.
That's where things went left. He said, look at Memphis Bleek. He not shining. He not winning. Jay-Z don't take care of him like 50 takes care of me. That line right there, it set the internet on fire. It wasn't just a diss. It was disrespect wrapped in ego. And in hip-hop, when you drag someone's mentor and their name into the same sentence, yeah, you're asking for war. That one jab from Yayo didn't just stir the pot. It flipped the entire table. Suddenly, it wasn't just about 50 and Jay anymore. It became personal for Bleek, for Jim Jones, and for anyone who values loyalty in this game. And from that point on, things started spiraling fast. Because words like that don't just fade away. They echo, and this time, the echo turned into an explosion. Arguing over sugar daddies in rap is wild. Arguing over who's got the better sugar daddy? That's wild, man. Real ones don't move like that. I was always taught, you can't feed your family off another man's plate, because the moment he stops serving you, your people go hungry. So when Tony Yayo starts talking about, yo, 50 looks out for me more than HOV looks out for his people, that's crazy talk. Real men handle their own. If your homie helps you out, cool, but bragging about it? Weird flex. Yayo's angle seemed to be calling Jay-Z selfish, saying HOV only moves for himself and doesn't help anyone. But the way he said it made it sound like a flex about who's getting taken care of. And that's a strange hill to die on. So when Memphis Bleek hit Drink Champs, he couldn't let that slide. He had to clear the air. According to Bleek, there's never been deep beef between him and Yayo. They've crossed paths, maybe even worked a little. But after those comments, the energy definitely shifted. Bleek made it clear on the show, yo, HOV don't have to look out for me. I'm good. I'm eating. If he does, I'll be even more up. But don't get it twisted. That's not my lifeline. Translation? Man, forget Tony Yayo straight up. Now, Yayo's always been the type to call people out for not taking care of their crew. That same energy sparked his recent beef with Jim Jones, too. Everybody remembers the G-Unit versus Dipset era. 50 Cent, Cameron, Jim Jones. It was chaos. Most people thought all that was ancient history. Turns out, not quite. A while back, Yayo went on Math Hoffa's podcast and dropped a bomb. He claimed Jim Jones left Stack Bundles in the hood, and that's why tragedy struck. Yayo said, Stack Bundles was one of my favorite rappers. Jim had Stack in Max B. Stack's had a Porsche, but he was still in the projects. No disrespect. But when 50 had me, I was in Battery Park, walking barefoot with Dior sneakers waiting for me. That's love. That's protection. It was a heavy claim. Basically, Yayo was saying Jim didn't take care of Stack, and that played a role in what happened to him. Now, if you don't know, Stack Bundles was that guy. Signed to Jim Jones, part of the Bird Gang movement. Jim brought him on tour, gave him exposure, but Stack never left the hood. He lost his life there, and that story still hurts hip-hop to this day. People been saying for years that Jim took Stack's whole style, his flow, his fashion, his aura, and ran with it. But Jim's always denied that. He said he tried to move Stack out the hood, tried to get him a crib, tried to get him safe, but Stack didn't want to go. During one emotional interview, Jim broke it down. I was about to buy Stack, Max, and Melly a whole brownstone in Jersey. None of them wanted to leave. I told them, you can still go to the hood every day, but live better. Be safe. They didn't listen. And what I feared happened. Jim stood on that. He said he did everything he could to protect his people, but you can't force someone to leave their block. At the end of the day, that's the harsh truth about this game. You can't save everyone. Jim Jones snaps back at Tony Yayo. Things get heated. From private jets to exotic cars, Jim Jones wasn't holding back. He started talking about everything. The tours, the money, the lifestyle. Miami weekends blowing hundreds of thousands. Double tour buses in Atlanta. You name it. Jim was on one, reminding everyone how big he and his crew were moving back in the day. And the only reason he even brought it up, because the people in the room, like Bleak and others, were there. They knew Stack Bundles. They knew that era. To Jim, this wasn't just music history. This was personal. At that point, Tony Yayo hadn't even fired back yet, but you could already see why Jim was heated. Stack wasn't just an artist to him. That was family. And when Yayo mentioned Stack's name, Jim took that as straight disrespect. Now, I can't tell you what's 100% true, whether it's about the $25,000, the G-Wagon, or any of the details floating around. But one thing is clear. Anything involving Stack Bundles hits deep for Jim. So when Jim sat down with Memphis Bleak and Tony Yayo's name came up, man, he didn't hold back. Bleak tried to keep it chill, but Jim went off fast. He made it clear he's not starving, his people aren't starving, and that this whole who got the better sugar daddy debate is ridiculous. Jim said, a lot of y'all don't understand the business Bleak got going on. You see Jay and assume he's holding everybody's hand. That's why you got people like Yayo saying, Jay don't take care of his people. Bro, I don't need Jay-Z to go on tour. I move how I move. Then Jim got personal. Yo, you look like you need to be taken care of. You look like you need the dentist, need hygiene, need help. Tell your man 50 to buy you some toothpaste or something. I got a G for every bump on your face. Yeah, Jim snapped. And Bleak, trying to keep the peace, jumped in. Nah, you good my G. They need to hear this. Jim doubled down. He said, ain't nobody taking care of us. We take care of each other. My circle's straight. From there, the conversation shifted. What started as a debate turned into a full-on flex. Jim started comparing lifestyles, cars, homes, money, basically saying Yayo could never touch what he's built. But here's the twist. That's not even what Tony Yayo meant. Yayo never said Jim was broke. In fact, he said the opposite. Jim's good. His point was that Jim's crew doesn't seem good, that they're not shining the way 50 Cent's people are. If Jim had focused on that angle instead of taking it as a money insult, the whole thing might have gone a different direction. But Jim wasn't hearing it. His pride kicked in. He felt like Yayo was trying to clown him publicly. And Jim don't play about his name or his people. He said it plain, ain't nobody feeding me. I built this from the ground up. Then came the shots, not subtle ones either. Jim started calling Yayo out for living in 50's shadow, saying he's always hiding behind his boss. Y'all do what y'all do. I move different. I don't watch nobody's money. I just handle mine. At that moment, you could feel the shift. It wasn't conversation anymore. It was straight tension. Bleak tried to reel it back, but Jim was gone. Years of comparisons, disrespect, and frustration came pouring out. Jim made sure everyone knew. He's not backing down from Tony from 50 or from anyone. But Tony Yayo didn't stay quiet either. Instead of dropping a diss or a rant, Yayo hit Instagram with a move that spoke louder than words. He reposted Max B, Jim's longtime rival. And that one post blew up the internet. Fans split instantly, half writing for Jim Jones, saying he defended himself like a boss. The other half saying Tony Yayo hit a nerve and spoke the real. Now the question is, whose side are you on? Team Jim Jones or Team Tony Yayo? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to Drip Z for more hip-hop deep dives just like this one.